All right, vocabulary number 17. These are all words from the knotted branch, either part 1 or 2. Remember, I do include the link to the story if you wanted to look them up digitally, or you can always open your booklet if you want to see more of the context. So the first word is zigzagging. Means moving back and forth to form a series of sharp angles. So it is a verb. Adjective will sometimes hear a zigzag, like he moved in a zigzag pattern. So it's describing the pattern. An sentence, the car was zigzagging through the course. In the story it says, I was zigzagging down the slope to stay concealed as much as possible. Next word is concealed. So if you're like, well, what does concealed mean? Concealed means hidden. Now this can be a verb or an adjective. And actually in one of the sentences it's used as a verb, the first one. He concealed the birthday gift, so it would be a surprise, talking about what he did. Or it can be an adjective, so I stayed concealed behind the trees. It's describing that he was hidden. So some words can be either one, depending on that ending and how it's used. So moccasin, you might have heard of this before. It's a soft leather shoe first worn by American Indians. Now other people will wear moccasins, in more than one. So she loved her moccasins because they made her feet feel so comfortable. Oftentimes worn as slippers. Not always. Some people will wear them out and about. But again, first worn by Native Americans. In the story, it says, I recognized the shape of moccasin tracks. So as he's following along, he sees the outline of moccasins, cluing him in that his mother and sister were probably with them, because they would have been wearing moccasins. All right, deceived. Deceived means caused to believe something that is not true, like tricked or fooled. So you could say, he deceived us about his age. He made us try to think he was older or younger than he was. Tried to trick us, he tricked us. I looked closer to be sure that my eyes had not deceived me. So thought he saw something, looked closer to make sure his eyes hadn't fooled him. Scuffing, damaging by scraping. So you could say she was scuffing her shoes by dragging them against the sidewalk. So scraping them up. In the story it says the scuffing of feet showed itself in the tracks. So it could kind of tell that they were like dragging their feet, not just walking, kind of scraping them along. Scuffing their feet. So it makes you wonder, what's happening? Why do the tracks look like that? Remember, you don't have to write both. I'm just trying to give you context. And don't feel like you have to remember them all. But hopefully, as I go through them, then you'll be aware of them when you find them in your stories, or you can use them in your own writing. Hemlock. Hemlock is a type of evergreen tree. So the hemlock tree kept dropping its cones and needles. And I should add, evergreen is like pine trees, what you might think of as the ones that keep their needles all year round. They stay green. And hemlock is one specific kind. So is pine, but... Excuse me. That might just help some of you know what I'm talking about. In the story, it talks about, I saw something in a low hemlock branch. So if you hadn't known what it was, talking about its branch could help clue you in that it's a tree. All right, and that is it for that one. So make sure you ask if you have questions, and good luck.